Donald Trump is having an absolutely awful Friday morning. We just got the jobs numbers out, and who even knows with the Trump regime if these numbers can be trusted. But according to the latest report, employment continues to slow, as Justin Wolfers writes. We only added 50,000 jobs in December, which is usually a month where you see a lot of jobs being created. Also, devastating downward revisions from past months, like October was revised down by 68,000 jobs, meaning 173,000 jobs were lost in October. And in November, there was a downward revision by 8,000 jobs. Also, if you look at the overall revisions, every single monthly job number in 2025 has been revised down. Now we can take a look at the annual job numbers because all of 2025 is now over. And as economist Heather Long writes, the U.S. economy added only 50,000 jobs in December and a meager 584,000 jobs in all of 2025. That's the worst year for job gains outside of a recession since 2003, and nearly 85% of the job gains happened by April. There was little hiring the rest of the year. So take a look at this graph by Justin Wolfers right here, where he says, since Liberation Day is what Donald Trump called it in April, U.S. job growth has stopped essentially altogether and looks like it is in a decline. Also, Wolfers points out that since April, Liberation Day, the U.S. has only averaged monthly job growth of 12,000 jobs a month, whereas Canada has averaged 22,000 jobs a month. Also, it should be noted that Donald Trump seems to have unlawfully leaked the job report numbers last night. Remember the video I did this morning where I talked about Donald Trump making posts of financial data that was not released publicly? And this financial data has the ability to move futures markets and move the stock market, which is why they're supposed to be kept confidential until they're released at a precise time. Well, Donald Trump is getting his hands on them. Who knows if he's manipulating them, but he posted about them unlawfully the evening before, by law, they were allowed to be released. One more point I want to make about these job numbers, as Tara Hoops points out. In a surprise to yet again no one, the manufacturing sector took another hit and lost 8,000 jobs last month. That's a 0.1% decline. Again, it appears we're in a manufacturing recession. Tariffs are not revitalizing the manufacturing industry, and we seem to be in a jobs recession as well. Now, with all of that taking place, what's Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans doing? What are Donald Trump's sycophants like MAGA Mike Johnson saying? Well, MAGA Mike just appeared on a bizarre podcast, and MAGA Mike says he prefers to be called Miracle Mike and not Magic Mike because he hears that Magic Mike may be a little bit pornographic. That's what he's saying this morning. Here, play this clip.
It's crazy.
Fair point.
That voice you've been hearing is the 56th Speaker of the House. You know, we call you Magic Mike when you're not here. We'll call you Magic Mike while you are here.
I prefer Miracle. Magic Mike is assigned to some sort of pornography thing or something I've heard.
Are you sure you don't want it?
I don't want that one. No.
Mike Johnson, the Speaker, thanks for stopping by.
Now, we're also learning what Donald Trump does behind the scenes with his cabinet members. He refers to his cabinet members as his little children. He refers to Rubio and Vance as his kids, and he buys them shoes and he dresses them up. He plays dress up with his cabinet. You see, Donald Trump gave an interview with the New York Times, and in this interview, according to the New York Times, who observed him behind closed doors, Trump referred to his aides as kids, including Vance, who's 41 years old, and Rubio, who's 54. Apparently, he bought them shoes. At some point, Vance lifted up his leg to show the shoes that the president bought him and that he was wearing them. This is from the New York Times report. Rubio and Vance each said that they received 4 pairs of shoes from the president. They were both wearing black dress shoes with slightly different designs. One of the pairs they received were tuxedo shoes. As the president interacted with these aides and advisors during our time, he frequently referred to them as kids. This included Vance and Rubio. And then they showed off the sneakers that Donald Trump bought for them. Also, Donald Trump was asked by the New York Times if there are any limits on his global powers or his desire to dominate the Western Hemisphere as a predator. Donald Trump says, yeah, there is only one thing: my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me. I don't need international law. Now, if you're saying, Ben, there's no way that he said that, come on. Well, the New York Times has audio. Here's the audio of the New York Times with their interview with Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
Do you see any checks on your power on the world stage? Is there anything that could stop you if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's one thing: my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop. And,
not international
and
law.
that's very good. I don't need international law. I'm not looking to hurt.
Now, I want to point out that there are protests still taking place right now in Minneapolis and across the country as a result of the Trump regime's Gestapo murdering people in cold blood. Donald Trump's paramilitary forces, his collectivos, his SS, patrolling the streets in their militarized gear. Even Tucker Carlson is asking why conservatives can't view Renee Good's shooting through a human lens. A woman got shot in the face. Why can't we all say that's not a good thing? Even Tucker Carlson is appalled by the reaction of MAGA. And to recap, as the Tennessee Holler explains, this morning alone, we've seen 2 ICE goons point their guns at unarmed protesters' heads at protests about them shooting a woman in the head. These guys are so out of control. Shout out to our friends who we partner with at the MeidasTouch Network, Status Coup. You know we're big Status Coup fans here at the MeidasTouch Network as they help us bring you exclusive footage, and they're just courageous pro-democracy independent media warriors. But let me just show you these 2 clips that they took from this morning. One of Trump and Bovino's Border Patrol goons and ICE goons pointing their guns at unarmed protesters. Play this clip. And here's yet another example at a Minneapolis protest that is protesting them shooting a woman in the face. The Trump goon pulls out a gun and puts it in the face of an unarmed female. After killing an unarmed U.S. citizen by shooting her in the face, they're now pulling guns on peaceful protesters and threatening to shoot them in the face. Here, play this clip.
Oh shit, he's got his gun. He pulled out his fucking...
Now, you know I'm a big chart and data guy, so let's take a look at some more charts. This one about the Trump unlawful immigration raids. As Aaron Reichlin-Melnick explains, new data released by ICE shows that virtually the entire growth of detention in the last few months has been among people with no criminal record at all, no criminal convictions, and no pending criminal charges. That's right, 92% of ICE detention growth for the year 2026 so far has been driven by immigrants with no criminal convictions. ICE published new detention data today that brings the current population to a record high of 68,990 as ICE records its first detention death of 2026 as well. And you know that there were close to 100 detention deaths already. Also, you know, I'm bringing out the data and the receipts. A new poll as well from Zurich and Whiter explains that Germans now distrust the United States pretty much as they distrust Russia. The US and Russia both have a can't be trusted rating that's virtually identical there. So, what are the Trump regime propagandists saying right now about the dismal job numbers? Well, you have Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's national economic advisor, who many believe is up there to be the next Fed chief. And he's been wrong his whole life on basically everything. He's the guy who said, buy, buy, buy during the dot-com boom when it then crashed. That's Hassett for you. But Hassett blames the numbers because, yep, it's always the numbers' fault. Play this clip.
Got it. Revisions now. October down 68,000. November down 8,000. What do you make of that?
Yeah, the numbers, we still have to get the BLS numbers to be more reliable. There's a lot of work right now. We're recruiting a new head of the BLS. But when you see these big revisions, what it means is that it's harder to say what the real number is. But the thing that right now I trust the most is the unemployment rate. And that dropped quite a bit this
Okay,
month.
now on tariffs, we did not.
Or Hassett actually says to state regime media, Fox, actually everything is dandy. Everything is great. Play this clip.
To you, not only, well, let's talk about the number from December. Less than expected. How much of a disappointment is that?
Oh, it's not really. If you think about it, 3 out of the last 4 months were big upward surprises. The unemployment rate dropped a lot. And actually, because of rounding, it's actually a bigger drop than you can see if you only look at the first digit. And
one other data point I want to discuss as well. The European Union agreed to a sweeping trade pact with 4 South American countries that could create one of the largest free trade zones in the world. The New York Times is reporting. The agreement represents a push for deeper global cooperation, in contrast to the United States turning to coercion and invasion and dealing with other countries. So the European Union basically agreed to this new trade pact with South America that would bring one of the largest free trade zones in the world into existence, connecting more than 700 million people. Brazil, as well as Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, are involved in this as well, and others are looking to join. So, as the U.S. engages in its isolationism and attacks against the world, or as Trump says, based on my own morality is how I make decisions, the rest of the world is forming free trade alliances, only weakening the position of the United States. Folks, we'll keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network. Please hit subscribe. You may think that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you may not actually be subscribed, because you get fed these videos on your algorithm or you search MeidasTouch, but just double check and turn your notifications on. By turning your notifications on, you are able to make sure you get notified when we drop new videos. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.